Hey gang, how you doing? This is Professor Zremski here in the comfort of my home office doing a video for you on what I call the reporter's toolbox, the basic tools that you need to be a reporter. In a way, it's probably good that I'm doing it this way because it'll allow me to even kind of give you a little bit of a virtual tour of our office here once I'm done talking. Well, let me just begin by saying that this has really changed for me over time. I've been a reporter, as you know, for a very, very long time now. And back in the day, all you really needed was a notebook and a typewriter, and you were good to go as a reporter. Well, this is very, very different now because we're all mobile journalists now. We all have all sorts of techie tools that didn't even exist at the time that I was your age. So I'll talk a little bit about them and about how to use them here today. First of all, though, we do have our typical traditional tools, including this, which I showed you before, the reporter's notebook. Again, these are good to have because you can write really quickly in these. And so if you're going to become a reporter, get used to using these. I mentioned pens, of course, pens. And pencils I keep in here somewhere in this thing are my little retractable pencils for use when the weather is too cold to use pens. So of course, beyond that, we have something called the phone log. Not every reporter keeps one of these, but I do. I have this big binder with individual sheets of paper where I record every day who I'm talking to that day. More on that in a little bit. Of course, we have the laptop, we have the tape recorder. I've talked about how to use the tape recorder in the past, so there's really no need for me to repeat that. But again, rely completely, mostly on your notes, your written notes, rather than the tape recorder. Your cell phone, obviously, is a tool for a lot of things these days, your social life, everything practically. It's also a tool for reporting because you have all these options here, right? You can take photos. Oftentimes now I'll take a photo on my iPhone and attach it to my story on WordPress when I'm writing. You can even do videos on the iPhone, obviously, and use them for your reporting. That's why it's useful to have a tripod that fits your iPhone. Because that way you can actually set up your phone and you can do Facebook Live, which I've done as well. You can record videos that way. You also may have a more sophisticated camera. I do myself. I have two more sophisticated cameras. One is a video camera that does really good high-res videos, and the other is a nice Canon for which I can shoot really good photographs if it's just not good enough to rely on the iPhone. And in some circumstances, it is better to have a higher quality camera. Now, with all of this, you have some extras, right? You always have to have earbuds with you if you're a reporter, and you need earbuds that are going to fit not only this, but this. And they're different, right? This takes the old-fashioned kind of jack that's round, whereas the iPhone has the Apple-only attachment. So the reason you need earbuds for this too is that you might be in a crowded place somewhere working with other reporters, and you have to listen to one of the interviews you recorded. You have the earbuds so that you don't drive everybody crazy by playing your tape at the full volume. Now, what other things do I carry with me all the time? Batteries, AAA and AA. I keep both of them because I have different devices. This uses AAA. I have some other devices that use AA, such as my video camera. So you always want to keep spare batteries. You always want to keep charging cables of every kind you can imagine. So I have the iPhone charger. I have in my bag a different charger for that I use for my Kindle, for example. And always, too, I keep a portable, I think it's in my other bag over there, I keep a portable charger so I can keep my phone charged at all times. And I carry this. It's a power strip. Why? Because when you're a reporter, oftentimes you're going to be in a crowded situation where you need to charge your phone, you need to charge your computer, etc. You can't monopolize every outlet in the area, so you're the good guy who brings along this thing, so you're only monopolizing one, and you're going to be more likely to have power in that circumstance. You may notice that I keep my chargers and everything in these handy dandy little Ziploc bags. Why do I do that? That's why I do that. I hope you can see that. That's what happened to my cords back in the day before I used the Ziploc bags. This actually happened when I was covering a trip with President Obama. It was kind of embarrassing. I decided enough of that. Now I'm going to go and start being organized and keeping everything in a Ziploc bag. So a few more details, things you might not think about if you do become a reporter. First of all, believe it or not, wear comfortable shoes. There have been many times when I least expected it, when I had to run. I had to try to catch somebody across the street. I had to get out of the way of something, etc. So I always wear shoes that may look like dress shoes, but have rubber soles and are very comfortable, so I can move around if I have to move around. Now, this is very personal, but it's also very important that you stay in reasonably good physical shape. Being a reporter is a really difficult, very stressful, very time-consuming job. I can't count the many 15-hour days I've worked in my career. That being the case, I think it's really good that I get rest, that I eat right, that I exercise regularly, etc. So I have that stamina. And again, if you have to run, you better be in shape if you're going to have to run. Okay? Dress professionally. Now, I actually overdress compared to a lot of modern day reporters who don't necessarily wear a coat and a tie, but I go to Capitol Hill a lot, right? So I want to fit in with the people on Capitol Hill. And on Capitol Hill, everybody still wears a suit. So there you go. I'm a professional. All right. But again, if it's like normal workday, you're not going to interview anyone. Business casual is all right. And like I said in class today, if you're interviewing someone who would never wear business casual and never wear a suit, you should dress like them. So if you're just going to a farm, you dress in jeans, that sort of thing. All right? Okay. Now let me tell you how I organize my day as a reporter. I generally spend about the first hour or so reading all the newspapers. I read the Post pretty much front to back, and then I look at the New York Times and the Buffalo News and the Wall Street Journal. Then I talk to my editor, and we kind of figure out what I ought to be doing that day. I usually have ideas already because I've looked at what's happening in Washington that week, and I've got some sense as to what the news is. And so, so around 9 o'clock on days that I'm not teaching, I talk to my editor, and I come up with a plan for the day. Then I go to my phone log. This is, I think, a very important tool. It's essentially every day a to-do list where I write down everyone I need to talk to. When I've talked to them, cross them out. So as you can see, nobody's calling me back today, which is kind of annoying, but that happens sometimes. This is good in two ways. Number one, if you write down those numbers, you're always going to have that number, even if you forget to put it into your address book. So it's a nice fallback for that. The other thing it does help you organize your day. And what I try to do is I usually write down everybody that I need to talk to, but I only put out no more than 6 calls at a time. The problem is if you put out more than that, you might get more calls coming in right when you're talking to other people, and it can get annoying. So I just pretty much limit it to six people at a time. Remember, do save the name and number of everybody you speak with, and if it's someone who you would ever conceivably need to talk to again, you want to write that down on your phone log, but also put in your contacts, okay, on your computer. That contacts list is ultimately going to be your most important reporting tool, because that's where your sources will be. That's where you'll find your sources, and you'll be going back to your sources again and again as the years go by. So you want to guard that list of contacts very, very well. I store it both on Microsoft Outlook. I store it on the cloud. I try to make a print copy and keep that every once in a while, just in case everything else fails. So just remember, keep all your contacts, okay? So that's basically how I organize my life as a reporter, and just because we're doing this in this very virtual, modern day way, let me just show you around a little bit, all right? And then we'll say goodbye. I work at a home office most of the time. I'm up on Capitol Hill some of the time, and I'm at the press club some of the time, but most of the time I'm here. And here pretty much is my setup, and I'm just gonna kind of clean things up only a little bit, because reporters are not noted for being really clean and neat. So there you go. There's my desk. There's my computer. There are all the notebooks and crap I keep on my desk. There's my bag from school over there. There's my printer, my stereo equipment, etc. Like I said, it's a home office, so I do a little bit of everything here, including grading papers, which I will be doing before I see you guys again on the 11th. So I hope you found this a little bit enjoyable, at least. I'm sorry I'm not there to answer questions about it, but if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me via email. All right, so I hope you all have a very nice fall break, and we will see you on the 11th. Bye.